Rank 1, the candidate. You don't even exist yet. You don't apply to SADSOG. You don't find a job posting. You don't walk into a recruiting office. You don't raise your hand. They find you, and by the time they come looking, you've already spent years becoming exactly what they need. Most candidates come from 3 places: SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, Army Rangers, the absolute tip of the spear of the American military. People who have already done things that would make a regular soldier's hands shake just hearing about them. And even then, most of them don't make the cut. The selection process has no official name. No graduation ceremony, no certificate at the end. It exists in the gap between your last military deployment and whatever comes next. They study you first. That part you don't even know is happening. They pull your psych evaluations, your performance reports. They talk to people you served with, without telling those people what they're being asked about or why. They look for a very specific combination of things that almost never exists in the same human being at the same time. Elite combat skills, obviously, but also patience. The ability to sit completely still for 72 hours in a hide site, waiting for a target to step outside. Language aptitude, the ability to pass as local, to blend into a culture that isn't yours without a single mistake, because one mistake in a denied area isn't embarrassing, it's fatal. Psychological stability under sustained extreme stress, not the kind of stress that lasts an afternoon, the kind that lasts months. And something else, something harder to measure, the ability to operate completely alone. No chain of command, no backup, no one to call when the mission goes sideways. Just you, the objective, and whatever you can improvise with what's in your hands. When the man in the no-name room finally makes contact, you've already been pre-selected. The meeting isn't an interview, it's a formality. The only question left on the table is whether you're willing to vanish. And you are. You always were. That's why they picked you. Rank 2. The paramilitary officer trainee, the hardest thing you will ever survive. You've done hard training before. BUS, the Q course, SFAS. You've been cold and wet and broken and sleep deprived and pushed to the absolute edge of what a human body can take. You think you know what hard training feels like. You don't, not yet. Because what they put you through now isn't just about making your body harder. It's about rewiring your mind. The training facility doesn't appear on any map. Your instructors don't give you their real names. You don't know the names of the other candidates around you. You only know them by what they do under pressure. And pressure they apply constantly. The first week is a stress inoculation. That's the clinical term for what they do to you. What it actually means is they break every psychological comfort mechanism you've ever built, on purpose, to see what's underneath. Sleep is a privilege you earn, not a given. Food is a reward, not a schedule. Time becomes completely meaningless. You don't know if it's Tuesday or Saturday. You don't know if it's been 4 days or 9. You operate in a permanent fog of exhaustion, and they watch, very carefully, to see what decisions you make in that fog. Because that fog, that is the job. Every mission you will ever run will feel exactly like this. The physical training is next level even by your standards. Small unit tactics in environments you've never trained in before. Urban warfare, jungle operations, Arctic survival. You do it all, sometimes in the same week. Advanced weapons qualification covers every firearm manufactured in the last 60 years, including weapons from countries that are technically enemies. Because on a denied area operation, you cannot carry anything that can be traced back to the United States. You will use Russian weapons, Iranian weapons, Chinese weapons, weapons with no country of origin at all. You learn combat diving to depths that civilian divers would consider genuinely dangerous. High-altitude parachute operations, halo, ha-ho, jumping from altitudes where the air is so thin you need oxygen just to breathe on the way down. You learn how to build a bomb from hardware store components. You learn how to take one apart in the dark. You learn how to make a person disappear. You learn how to make yourself disappear. But the most critical training, the thing that separates SOG operators from every other elite unit on the planet, is what they call denied area operations. You practice living inside a cover identity so completely that you don't just remember it, you become it. Your cover is a businessman from a country that isn't America. You speak the language, you know the culture, the food, the local slang, the way people carry themselves on the street. Your instructors will test this in real environments, real cities, real people who don't know they're part of a training exercise. If you break cover once, you fail. If you're spotted as American once, you fail. If you hesitate for 1 second in a situation where a real local would not hesitate, you fail. 40% of candidates wash out here. Not because they can't fight, because they can't disappear. You don't wash out. When they tell you that you've passed, they don't congratulate you. There's no ceremony. One of your instructors just looks at you and says, "First mission briefing, 0600. Don't be late." That's it. You are now a CIA paramilitary officer. Welcome to the unit that doesn't exist. Rank 3, Junior Paramilitary Officer. Your first step into the dark. Your first insertion is in a country the United States is not officially operating in. You don't land at an airport. You don't come in on a military transport. You cross the border at night on foot, through a mountain pass that doesn't appear on any commercial map, with a cover identity, a local cell phone, and a weapon that cannot be traced to the US government. That's it. No extraction team on standby. No quick reaction force. No one who will come get you if things go wrong. If you're caught, you are a foreign national, a businessman, a tourist who wandered somewhere he shouldn't have. The CIA will not acknowledge you. The US Embassy will not take your call. The president will not know your name. You are completely, utterly, officially alone. Your first mission is surveillance. You're tasked with tracking a high-value target. A weapons financier who moves between 3 cities, never sleeping in the same location twice. You spend 6 weeks living your cover. You rent an apartment. You go to the same cafe every morning. You buy groceries at the local market. You make small talk with neighbors every single day. You are someone you are not. Every single night, you compile intelligence reports that get transmitted to Langley through a system so encrypted it doesn't technically exist either. By week 3, you know the target's pattern, his car, his driver, the restaurant he eats lunch at on Thursdays, the building where he meets with his contacts. By week 5, you know enough. Langley makes a decision above your clearance level. They pull you out. Someone else acts on the intelligence you gathered. You never find out what happened. You never get to know if your 6 weeks meant anything. You get on a plane with a different passport than the one you came in with, and you disappear back into the world. 3 days later, a new briefing lands in your encrypted inbox. Different country, different target, different cover, same rules. You don't exist. Don't get caught, don't come home in a box, you go. Rank 4, Ground Branch Officer, hunting the world's most wanted. This is where it gets real. Ground Branch is the direct action arm of SADSOG. This is not surveillance. This is not intelligence gathering. This is hunting. The targets on your list are the most dangerous people alive on the planet. Terrorist commanders, bomb networks, financiers who fund attacks that kill American civilians, people the US military cannot legally touch because they're operating inside countries where American forces are not authorized to be. But you're not American forces. You don't have a uniform. You don't have a rank. You don't have rules of engagement in the traditional sense. You have a target. You have a mission. You have whatever you can carry. Your team is small, never more than 6 people, sometimes just 2, sometimes just you. You operate at night, always at night. You move through cities and mountains and jungle like you were born in all of them. Your first direct action mission is in a country you cannot name in any report, even classified ones. There's a man. He builds bombs. His bombs have killed 23 American soldiers in the last 18 months, and Intel has his location. A compound on the edge of a small city. 6 guards, 1 primary target, 2 floors. You and your team go in at 2 a.m. There are no words for what the next 11 minutes are like, not because it's too violent to describe, but because it happens too fast for language to catch. Your training takes over completely. Your brain goes somewhere else while your body does exactly what it's been built to do. When it's done, the target is down. His bomb network is over. Lives that will never know your name are now safe. You're extracted before sunrise. You're in a different country before noon. The mission never happened. The target officially died in a car accident. You write your report in an encrypted system that automatically classifies itself. Nobody will read it for 25 years. And you sit there, somewhere between 2 countries and 2 identities, and you think, this is what I was made for. And then, quieter underneath that, what does it mean that this feels normal? Rank 5, Senior Ground Branch Officer, the weight of command, and years in. You've run operations on 5 continents. You've lived under 11 different cover identities. You speak 4 languages fluently enough to dream in them. You've done things that will never appear in any historical record. Stopped attacks before they reached American soil. Eliminated threats the public will never know existed. You are one of the most capable human beings alive. And you feel it. Not arrogance, just the quiet certainty of someone who has been tested in every way a person can be tested and came out the other side still standing. But now they hand you something heavier than any mission. They hand you a team. You are now responsible for other people, people who are as good as you, maybe better in some ways, people with families, people with kids. People who trust you completely because they know you've been exactly where they are, and now you have to send them into places that would make most generals flinch. Your first mission as team lead is in Syria, not the Syria that's on the news, the Syria that doesn't make the news. There's an Iranian-backed weapons network moving chemical precursors through a supply chain that spans 4 countries. If those materials reach their destination, hundreds of people die, maybe thousands. Your team has 8 days to find it, map it, and destroy it. 8 days. No official support, no military backup. In the middle of an active war zone where every faction on every side would kill you if they knew who you actually were. On day 5, your youngest operator, 26 years old, former ranger, 2 kids back home in Georgia, takes a bullet during an extraction. Not fatal, but bad enough. You carry him 400 meters to the rally point while the rest of your team provides cover. You get him out. You complete the mission. You sit in a safe house in the hours after, watching him sleep with a field dressing on his shoulder, and something hits you that 10 years of solo missions never could. This is different. Their lives are in your hands. Every call you make, every second you hesitate, every piece of intelligence you trust or don't trust, has consequences that don't just land on you. They land on a family in Georgia waiting for their dad to come home. You think about that, and then you do what you've learned to do with every feeling that tries to slow you down. You put it somewhere deep. You close the door on it. You open your laptop and start planning the next mission. This is the rank where you stop being a weapon. You become something colder than that. You become the hand that aims the weapon, and you never quite feel the same way about yourself again. Rank 6, Chief of Base, running the shadows. You are done going in yourself. Now you're the one who sends others. Chief of Base, COB. You run covert operations across an entire region from a location that doesn't appear in any official directory. It might be a safe house in a capital city, a compound on the edge of nowhere. A floor of an office building where nobody asks what the people on that floor actually do. You manage assets, operators, intelligence networks, and local liaison relationships, all simultaneously, all in secret, all with the constant awareness that if any single thread gets pulled in the wrong direction, the whole thing unravels, and people die. Your day starts before sunrise with encrypted intelligence briefs from 3 different theaters. You make decisions by 7 a.m. that your operators won't execute until midnight. You run 4 active missions simultaneously, each one a moving target, literally and figuratively. You authorize operations that could start wars if they were ever publicly acknowledged. You kill operations that could save lives because the risk of exposure outweighs the outcome. Every decision is a calculation. Every calculation is a gamble. And you make them alone, because there's no one at your level you can think out loud with. The loneliness of this rank is a specific kind. It's not the loneliness of being physically isolated. It's the loneliness of knowing things that no one else in the room can know. You sit across from your family at dinner, if you're even home for dinner, which is rare, and they talk about their days. The kids talk about school. Your wife talks about work, normal things, human things. And you sit there with information in your head that would make them terrified to know you. You smile, you ask questions, you pass the bread, and inside, behind everything, you are always somewhere else, always in the mission, always in the dark. This is the rank where the job stops being what you do and becomes who you are. There's no version of you left that exists outside of this. You stopped being able to find him somewhere around year 12. Final rank, SAD, SOG, Commander, the ghost that controls everything. 25 years. You are now at the top of the most secretive paramilitary organization on the face of the earth. No rank insignia because there is no rank insignia. No title on a business card because there is no business card. No entry in any government directory that a journalist or a senator or a foreign intelligence service could ever pull and find your name attached to this. You simply are. You oversee every covert paramilitary operation the United States runs in denied areas worldwide, every direct action mission, every covert insertion, every asset network in every country where American boots are not officially on the ground, but they are. You brief the director of the CIA. Sometimes you brief beyond that, into rooms that don't have names, with people whose titles don't appear in any organizational chart that will ever be published. The operations you authorize at this level, some of them are things that presidents have plausible deniability about, things that happen because someone has to decide they happen. That someone is you. You have stopped wars before they started. You have eliminated threats that would have killed thousands. You have protected elections, prevented assassinations, disrupted weapons programs that were months from completion. The world that regular Americans wake up in every morning, safer than it should be given what's out there. That world exists partly because of decisions you made in rooms with no windows. You will never be able to tell anyone that. Not a journalist, not a historian, not a biographer, not your wife, not your children. They know you work for the government. They know you travel. They know you can't talk about it. They stopped asking questions a long time ago because they learned that asking doesn't get them answers. It just gets them worry. You have missed birthdays, anniversaries, graduations. You have watched your kids grow up in photographs sent to encrypted devices that auto-delete every 48 hours. You have given this organization everything: your youth, your relationships, your ability to sit in a room full of people and feel like one of them, your capacity for the kind of simple happiness that doesn't require justification. You gave it all, and the organization took it, because that's what it does, because that's what you signed up for. Because somewhere in that first room, with the steel table and the manila folder, you knew exactly what you were trading. You just didn't understand the full cost until you'd already paid most of it. The day you retire, there is no ceremony, no speech, no medal pinned to your chest in front of colleagues, no handshake from the director in a room full of people who know what you've done. There is a meeting, a small one, 2 people across a table from you. They slide a final set of documents in front of you. More non-disclosure agreements. A reminder, as if you needed it, that everything you have ever seen, heard, done, or decided is classified at a level that will not be reviewed for the next 50 years. You sign. You walk out of a building that doesn't officially exist. You get in your car, you drive home, and that's it. No parade, no monument, no Wikipedia page that future generations can stumble across. Somewhere in Afghanistan, there's a valley where you ran your first real operation. The people in that valley are still alive because of what you did there. They don't know that. They never will. Somewhere in Eastern Europe, there's a city that never got attacked because you found the network planning the attack and you burned it to the ground before it could execute. The people in that city went to work the next morning. They went to their kids' soccer games that weekend. They had no idea how close it came. Somewhere in the Middle East, in an unmarked location that no satellite image will ever clearly resolve, there's a weapons program that no longer exists because you sent a team in on a Tuesday night and they made sure of it. Millions of people are alive right now because of what you spent 25 years doing. Not one of them knows your name. Not one of them ever will. You will grow old in a house in a quiet part of the country. You will have neighbors who think you're retired government, something boring, something administrative. You will die. Eventually, like everyone does, and there will be a small funeral, family, a few old friends, nobody from the unit, they don't do funerals. And somewhere at Langley, in a corridor that the public will never walk through, there will be a star added to a wall. No name beneath it, just a star. One more ghost who held the line, one more American who gave everything and got silence in return. And here is the darkest part of all. If you could go back to that room, that table, that folder with your number on it, knowing everything it would cost you, you'd open it again every single time, because some people are just built for the dark, and the dark, it always finds them. SAD/SOG operators are the most elite warriors the United States has ever produced, but they had to come from somewhere. Most of them started in one place. The most brutal military training program ever designed by human beings. A program with a dropout rate so savage that finishing it alone makes you legendary. Next time on POV Classified, you find out what it actually costs to become a Navy SEAL, and why the ones who make it are never quite the same again. Subscribe, because this is only getting darker.